Worldwide News Service, Truth in Broadcasting, your source for unbiased media.
I am at the EU, European Parliament, correct, in Strasbourg, France, with Carla. Carla represents .eu. .eu is is the first all green
domain name registry.
Right.
To go all green.
Go all green, and this company started 6 years ago, correct?
Eurid was launched 6 years. .eu was launched 6 years ago as to represent a European identity. So companies who want to show that they're open for work with all of Europe as opposed to just their country or
Right.
could go .eu, but citizens can as well. Anybody can have a .eu domain. All the institutions switched over to .eu as well.
Okay.
And it's run by the top level domain name registry is Eurid, and they are the. I mean, obviously .eu is something on the internet, so people say, but the internet, no emissions, it doesn't pollute, but it does because obviously there are offices and people underneath who have to run it, who have to ensure that when you write www.microsoft.eu, that's one of the domain names, for example, that it works. Something has to happen and you have to connect. And there's servers and there's systems and there's people ensuring that. And that underlying structure has gone completely green, certified by EMAS, which is a European Union Eco-Management Audit Scheme. So they're certified by outside companies who come in and check that you're reducing your paper consumption, choosing green travel, offsetting your carbon emissions. All the servers have different, they've opened a whole brand new center in the Netherlands, I think. I'm not an expert on this. Yeah. Which is using special coolers that are less polluting for the environment. So it really is company-wide. Every person has to now think about this.
Right. I think a lot of people, when they're looking at the internet, whatever they're interfacing with, they don't realize the infrastructure behind that because they're sitting at home with their computer and it's just going across the wire. But there is a massive infrastructure that sits behind a company like this.
For anything, for .com, I mean, can you imagine if .com stopped working? I mean, the world's economy would come to a standstill.
Right.
They have to have, backups and backups of backups and backups of backups of backups, so that if a terrorist, God forbid, went and blew up all the servers that run the .com addresses, they have backups.
Right.
It will still run. You, as a user, should not see any difference. Right. And that's really what these companies have to ensure.
Now, when .eu started, was it founded with the principle that it was going to go green or start green?
No. It started as a top-level domain name registry. The European Union, who was the main instigator of it, felt that we needed to have a European identity. So we already had .fr, and all the country domain names. If you're a commercial entity, you go for .com. If you're an organization, it's .org, but there was nothing that really signaled a European facet. And so that's what they decided to do with .eu. And it was the managers of .eu, the CEO, who's called Mark van Bezemel, and Giovanni Sepia, who's the external relations manager, who voluntarily, they saw this scheme, they thought it was a good thing. I mean, they believe in the environment, and they decided to voluntarily register for this scheme.
Right.
But once you register, to get the registration number, I mean, you have to take it seriously. As I say, you get audited by, even this morning we had a breakfast in the European Parliament with Commissioner Potočnik from the Environment and the Vice President Alexander Alvaro. They traveled here by train because that is less polluting than traveling here by plane, which would have been easier for them. Right. And they have to think about this at a company-wide level now.
Right. But now, anybody, even if you're in the United States or Japan, can get a .eu, correct? Absolutely. Especially if they do business with anybody in the European Union or the Eurozone. Well, it's a good way for an identity.
A really good example is a couple of years ago we convinced Microsoft.com, everybody knows that. And Microsoft has a lot of fantastic programs in the European Union, and they were about to launch a Microsoft.com/Europe site to put together all the initiatives that they do specifically for Europe. And we went and talked to them and we said, you should do Microsoft.eu because that's more European. And so if you now click on Microsoft.eu, you will get all the activities that Microsoft does in Europe.
Right. Well, I came over here to the European Union to cover the Greek debt crisis, but I came across this and Carla, but actually a larger development has taken place since I've been here. And Carla has issued me a challenge. And if you know me, I don't back down from a challenge, and it's a pastry challenge. She says her chocolate chip cookies with white chocolate and macadamia nuts will beat my triple mocha torte, which was dessert of the year in 1994, hands down. And this is going to take place in Brussels the next time I come over, correct?
Absolutely.
But I have to bring someone from the United States as a judge because you have all your judges already corralled here. So just in order of fairness.
We are, in Europe, we don't believe in bribery. We're very open-minded and fair. And,
Did you notice the eye language, the body language, the looking around when she said that?
I am American educated.
Right.
I believe in the American spirit. I tell you, I mean, this is U.S., the best of U.S. undergraduate schooling here.
Okay, so anyway, so this is what's developed here since I've been at the EU Parliament. And so it's going to be staged next at the Brussels side, correct?
Absolutely.
And we're going to have unbiased judges.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And I win.
You'll win? We'll see about that. Thank you, Carla, and thank you for
Thanks, Jerry.
your time and explaining about .eu.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.